What is up, people, and welcome back to another episode of Real Time with Dan. Of course, it's been gone for quite some time now. I think the last episode I did was back in November, but fair to say, we've come a long way, and I think it's actually also fair to say that not only has Real Time with Dan come back, but also the trusty suit is back. Admittedly, it's just been hanging up there on the door, and I decided, you know what, it needs to be worn. Haven't worn it in a fair while, and I didn't even wear it in the last episode. I think the last time I wore it was episode 7, I think it was. It must have been that. And that was filmed a very long time ago, and admittedly, now I actually have got a better workload and a better workflow to work with. I said work about 3 times in that one sentence. At least now, I now know for a fact that I can handle it. So, fair to say, I'm pretty excited. So anyway, let's just go ahead and dive straight in because we've got a lot to talk about today. Lots of things have happened, and of course, the world has become a different place, but nothing is ever more the same. So anyway, that was all rubbish, but let's just dive straight in. Well, first of all, what do we know? Well, first of all, Joe Biden is now the President of the United States of America, and Donald Trump is getting impeached for the second time round. And fair to say, well, bit late on that one, but still, at least you're actually doing the right thing. The guy doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the presidency. He's already making enough accusations as it is. Well, he already made enough accusations, and he's finally conceded defeat. But of course, with his impeachment trial, it does show for a fact that he's willing to do anything to make sure he doesn't get impeached. In reality, I just think it's all silly. But still, that's my opinion, but nothing else apart from that. Well, moving on to the gaming community, well, there's been a new game announced, moving on to the gaming community, well, quite an interesting one here. A new horror game called Little Nightmares 2 has finally been unveiled and released. It was unveiled, I think, about October of last year, and they released a demo. Admittedly, it actually got even me a little bit interested, albeit I'm not going to be playing it. I've already seen playthroughs of it, and in fact, full playthroughs are now available on YouTube as we speak. And it is pretty darn intense. There's a lot of new enemies in this one compared to the first game. First game I thought was pretty decent. However, there was one thing I would say about that first game which was a bit unusual, which was the checkpoint system. These little mini statues that you find hiding around the map, and you throw them, they break, and then they basically tell you that's where you'll respawn next. Fair to say, I think the enemies in the first game were pretty intense. These ones in the second game are even more intense, and I think it's definitely very well made and very well designed. And hopefully, you'll know for a fact that there's always a little twist at the end of it, and well, there is one in this one. But I'm not going to spoil it, so go ahead and check out any of the playthroughs or go and play the game for yourself. It's available right now. And alongside that, if you ever have played the game Super Mario 3D World, I believe it's called, they have just released an extension pack, which is called, I think it's Bowser's Fury, which, admittedly, it definitely was making me a little bit interested as well. And again, I don't have a Switch or a Wii U, but fair to say, if you do, then maybe consider it, because I've seen a playthrough of it, and I think it's actually pretty good as well. Definitely a nice add-on extension. And fair to say, definitely incredible. Now, apart from all that, it is pretty quiet in the YouTube community. Like, everyone is doing their own thing. Well, for the most part, at least. I haven't really heard much else in terms of that. Obviously, I've heard a few of my friends have been thinking about doing YouTube again, but nothing I can really report on. It is still a little bit null and void at the moment. I can't really say there's anyone I know personally who's making videos at this point in time, but of course, anytime they do, I always like to make sure I get them hyped up and get them in on it, because YouTube is a tricky place. So some people tend to misunderstand that, and even me turning the camera on right now and doing this took a little bit of willpower, but you know what? I'm happy I did, because the fact was, I've got something that's able to take the workload, and I think, well, what's the point me having that if I'm not going to do anything? I may as well turn the camera on, have a bit of fun, and do it. And heck, even bringing the suit back was definitely a bit of a step forward. And, well, admittedly, it is like, the suit, people will ask, why on earth do you use a suit in your videos? Well, let's just say it was originally a sort of like a running gag. I just wanted it as a joke, really. I didn't really mean to have it as like part of the series. I thought I'd wear it for the first 3 episodes and then just go to normal clothes and then just carry on from there. But admittedly, I just found myself wearing it each time until about episode 7, and then 8 and 9 I just wore whatever I could find, like, you know, at least a collared shirt. But I thought, this video, do you know what? It's coming back. It needs to come back because it's somehow made itself part of the series, and I can't really deny that. So there you go. And well, apart from that, let's have a think. Well, we've all been anticipating the new James Bond film coming out, which of course, I think it's called No Time to Die, I think it's called. Shouldn't really be saying I think, because I love James Bond, and I've been watching a lot of different James Bonds over the last couple of days. I was recently watching GoldenEye again, of course. You know, can't deny it's a fantastic film, and fair to say, you know, James Bond and all that, you know, I do love James Bond. I love action films in general, including Olympus Has Fallen. I've been watching an awful lot of, you know, a bit more of the Grand Tour. Of course, they've had their new special, A Massive Hunt. I've been watching that, and I honestly think, you know, watching Hammond, May and Clarkson again, it's definitely a nice step forward. Of course, we're not sure when the next special is going to air, because they did mention they wanted to film somewhere in Russia, I think. Now, don't quote me on that. I don't know for a full fact. But it's one of those things, you hear about it and you think, oh, that's a bit interesting. I think they did shoot in, I think they shot in Ukraine once on Top Gear. But apart from that, I can't remember if they ever shot in like Moscow or anything like that. But I suppose we'll never know. But anyway, one thing I wanted to do at the moment is actually go back and have a look at my previous video and just quickly read some of the comments that were on there. So on here, I actually have got my comments, and I'm probably going to try and I'll quickly grab a little bit of a screen recording, which is working. Here we go. Now, the last video was a reacting to bad days at the workplace. So, of course, this was video before last. So, anyway, I've got one here. It says, haha, your reactions are awesome. Keep it up. Now, admittedly, my reactions are a little bit meh, I find. Again, if I had all the space in the world, if I had my own place or my own room with soundproofing, I could probably react however I wanted to. But the problem is, I have to be a bit more considerate of people who are in other rooms. And at the moment, it's literally, the person in the other room is literally just to the right of me, about, I don't know, 4 feet away. So fair to say, I'm trying to be a bit more considerate, but hopefully when I start doing more of these reaction videos, I'll definitely start looking into that. So thanks a lot anyway, man. Of course, I got one that says, nice video, Dan. Cheers, my man. And this one is, can you please react to the Lady of Heaven trailer? I've never heard of Lady of Heaven. Never heard of it, never seen it. Not sure I will, but we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's something I might be interested in. I have no idea. But anyway, so that's pretty much the comments done. What else can I do? Well, I guess I could probably mention that in my last video I did mention that I had got myself something that is going to be able to handle the workload. Of course, you know, I definitely needed that. Like, before, I was absolutely struggling. I couldn't seem to finish a project without having, you know, maybe even trying to learn how to make proxies. And fair to say, it's been absolutely god-awful. Like, I was getting to the point where even playback was impossible, not without making sure I pre-render, which just, apparently, that does affect the image quality, which is a massive pain in my rear. So, yeah, there you go. It's one of those things. But fair to say, you know, it's definitely a reasonable investment. I think the channel definitely needed it, and I think, fair to say, people will definitely appreciate the amount of content that hopefully will be potentially coming out soon. And I said hopefully, potentially. Yes, I know that does sound a little bit like an oxymoron, or maybe I never really did learn much English. So if anyone is going to judge me, go for it. You go on, hit me with your best shot, for God's sakes. Yeah, I don't know. I've literally been stuck in this room for most of the time, and I would go outside, but it's just been so bad weather. I mean, yes, the weather's not dreadful. I know there are places in this world that get way worse weather than us, but when the wind's blowing like that and it gets cold, normally, whenever I go outside nowadays, I tend to want to take the camera with me naturally, just mainly based on the fact that I want to try and maybe do a little bit of photography. Now, again, I'm not really much of a photographer. I'll take pictures on the odd occasion, But at the same time, it's sort of a bit of a hobbyist thing. You know, I'm not really trying to do photography as a career. I'm mainly into the video specs, but you know, if I'm trying to do a thumbnail or just take something for Instagram, sure, I'll do it, but not really anything serious. I will take odd pictures. But yeah, it's definitely interesting, but the problem is I haven't been able to get outside because, well, back in mid-December, I managed to come down with the dreaded disease that we're all trying so desperately to avoid, which despite the fact that it is coming down, we're still having a fairly high rate of infections. But enough about COVID. But still, after that, I just found myself not finding myself. I've really found myself not getting that motivated to really do much. But again, you know, it's because everything's closed down. We can't really do much about it. You know, pretty much everywhere is closed, apart from the places we depend on the most, which is of course food outlets or pretty much supermarkets and essential shops. So yeah, it's been a bit mad. But I mean, you know, hopefully I will be trying to get out and get a bit of exercise in, you know, maybe go out for the odd walk, maybe try and do a little bit of photography, but it's not guaranteed. It's definitely something that I'm going to have to consider. Hopefully I might bring a bit of a vlog along, so that is definitely something to maybe look forward to. But yes, anyway, I'm going to probably have to stop there because, to be fair, I thought I had more to talk about, but in reality, I think I've almost run out of things to say, and I'm running out of air to breathe, so I think we'll probably leave it off here. But hopefully, if you did enjoy this video, then make sure you do be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these, then be sure you hit subscribe down below and the bell so you don't miss the videos in the future. And make sure you check out the socials because I hopefully will try and post a bit more on there. I always post on there whenever I say I'm going to upload a video or whenever I have uploaded one. So be sure you stay tuned for that. Anyway, hope you guys stay safe, take great care, and I'll see you all in the next one.